Welcome into a very special episode of Just Another Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Just Another Chris. And what makes this so special? Well, it's Christmas Eve, that is. That's when this is going out. The holiday special. But not only is it special because it's Christmas, this episode we see the return of Caitlyn Johnston. Yeah, a friend of mine. She was on last year's Christmas special, which marks the first time ever of a returning guest on the podcast. Yeah, I wanted this podcast to just be a new person every single time. Keep it fresh, keep it fun. But the reason I wanted to have her come back is because, well, a couple of things. But one of the big things is we talk about her entry into instant photography. Yeah, a little check-in, a little update. Because earlier in the year, I gifted her a Polaroid Barbie camera, and I want to check in with her and see how her progress into the instant photography world has been and where she's going to go with it. There's a lot of fun stuff in this episode. I'm really excited for you guys to check it out. So without further ado, let's dive on into episode 25 of Just Another Podcast. So, Caitlyn, welcome back. That's the first time I have ever said that to a podcast guest, because
really,
you are the only person so far to ever be brought back.
Why? That seems interesting.
I'm making that sound more like bad, but no. So the podcast, I was like, oh, I'll just do like a new guest every single week. But the reason I wanted to break that was because last year there's like two things that we had talked about last year, because this is the Christmas little episode. And you were on the last Christmas episode. It's kind of like perfect timing. We talked about a couple things, and it's kind of like an update, I think, a little bit of...
I don't even remember what we talked about, but I'm excited to learn.
I remember a couple things, and one of them was, well, first of all, you've started your journey into photography now, so I had to have you back on for that. And two, you were talking about maybe starting your own stuff at some point in the year, and you did that. So
kind of
be fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to, at least. I'm trying to level up.
You've tried and you succeeded.
Have I?
You have, yes. So you have a podcast.
I guess that's true.
Dating at her age, and I want to briefly talk about that a little bit. But before we dive into that, I want to point something out. Since this is a Christmas thing, and I kind of feel bad now because you did change your sweatshirt right before we started recording. From your lovely Taylor Swift merch.
Yeah, I didn't like the Taylor Swift.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I was like, oh, do you want something more colorful?
It was too boring.
It wasn't boring. But I wore this sweater just for you.
Oh, I didn't even notice that had Taylor on it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I want that.
Yeah, it says...
That's fun. I don't need it, but I like it.
Out there, it says, have a Merry Swiftmas with Taylor Swift's face on it.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I didn't even notice that, and I've been talking to you for like an hour before this.
I've been doing my best to like hide it. That's why.
Oh, I'm oblivious because we've been doing camera setup, and so I love that. That's so much fun.
A little bit of a callback to last year too, because we were talking about Taylor Swift and my journey into her stuff.
Has a cat on it, so
which is also fitting because you just got a cat.
Because I just got a cat,
yeah.
So, and I don't know where he's at right now. I think I made him a little nervous with what I was doing in here, so he's got anxiety. But I love your sweater. I didn't notice that. That's fun.
It's definitely a unofficial.
I can show them. You made me this little trinket, which is just hiding over here.
Look at that.
I think it needs to be charged because I couldn't get it to turn on.
You have to plug it in. It doesn't have a battery in there.
Oh, that makes sense. But it's Taylor Swift inside a UFO, for those who know.
Glad you brought that up because I actually recorded the whole like making of that.
Fun.
Yeah. So, and that's going to be released probably next week. Next week after this podcast. So for us in real time, because we're recording this before Christmas. Sorry, people, to break the illusion.
Not that far away though.
I know, it's like 4 days. It's 4 days from Christmas Eve when this episode goes out. But I'm going to, I did a whole video kind of breaking that down on how I made it utilizing instant photo printers and stuff. So it kind of ties into my channel, which I want to do more of maker stuff next year on this channel, like making cool things. I used to do a lot.
I didn't even question like how you got that little printout of Taylor. I was like, oh, that's cool. But now I'm like, oh, how'd you do that?
I straight up made that from scratch.
That's a big commitment there.
Yeah, it was fun.
How long did it take you? It looks fun.
I don't know how long it took because, I mean, as you can probably relate, once you hyperfixate on something, time
Right.
is
You just don't know.
ceases to
If
exist.
as long as you enjoyed it, that's all that matters.
Oh, yeah. I
So
love
'cause
challenges.
that's
so I
very
just
nice.
did it. Yeah, it probably took me, I don't know, 3-4 hours maybe from start to finish. Maybe a little bit
I
longer.
like it. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Back to the little teaser at the beginning. You have a podcast now. You talked about wanting to do something.
Yeah.
You were unsure originally what you were wanting to do, but you were hoping to do something in the year 2024, and you did it. So why don't you talk a little bit about it?
I did it. It's through my job, my full-time job. So it's
Yeah.
not like my podcast, if
Well,
that makes any sense.
you
It
birthed
is.
it.
I host it. I produce it. I do a lot. I do all the work. It
Yes.
doesn't exist without me. And my co-host, Debbie. So
Mhm.
dating at her age is, we just, Debbie is in her 50s. I'm 29, almost 30. And
Coming up.
she would always come into work and tell me these crazy dating stories. And I was just like, we need to share some of this, but also she's very smart with safety. And she used to work for the FBI, used to be married to a cop. She was an investigative reporter. She just knows a lot of stuff. And I learned a lot about safety from her. So it was kind of both of those things combined, like dating safety and just dating in general, just to talk about kind of what it is now, because it's not the funnest if you're kind of out in the trenches. We've talked to you a few times. So
Yes, I've been on it twice.
yeah,
So
but
that's
it
why I had
can
to
be.
get you on.
And
Make-
yeah,
we
well,
gotta
it's
get one for
fun.
one.
It's fun, but it's doing the podcast has actually changed my perspective on dating a little bit, because I'm
Good
not
or
a
bad?
I'm not a big dater. Like, I never really have been. I've been caught into certain like situations and stuff, and I talk about that on the podcast. So I think my mind's always just been like, dating sucks. It's not fun.
It does
It's
suck.
whatever. And yeah, well, yeah. But that's why I honestly just I date, but I don't try very hard when it comes to like getting on dating apps and stuff like that. Like, my goal is more just, something organic develops, and it's in the world, and like out in the wild is my thing. But taking the pressure off of it, we talked to a relationship coach recently, and she just like flipped my perspective on a lot of stuff, because she said, just like something she said was, take the pressure off of trying to find your husband or your significant other. Just try to find connections. And that's really what I've tried to do, because you don't always know if someone you meet is going to be your friend or something more than that, or just maybe they have a brother or a cousin or a friend. They may have connections for romantic relationships, but also just things with like your career, and that could take you somewhere else. So that changed my perspective overall. It's like, I don't even need to be looking for that, because it does give me anxiety when I think about that. Like, there's a lot of pressure surrounding relationships and stuff, because I am 29. But really, I just think I'm open to connections, and I just want to meet people and just enjoy those connections and see what happens. And that's just kind of take the pressure off. So that's what I'm at. But I'm totally anti-dating app. And Debbie goes in and out, but I am like not into it. I'm on my phone all the time anyways for work. So like, I have a hard time. That's like adding a task to dating. And I just would rather not. I try my best with that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyways, that was just like my perspective of dating. But we have different perspectives, me being 29 and her being 57, because she's been married before, and dating was a lot different before she was married. And it's just, I've only really known like the dating app world.
Yeah.
And I just kind of am like, I'm just fine. I have a cat now instead, but I'm still without kids. Which I don't listen. If I had kids right now, it would not be going well, because I have no money. So I have a cat. That's my child.
Hey, you got
hopefully he'll come in here so we can introduce him. But I don't know where he's at right now.
Yeah, I have Paco. He's my child. He's the last one. I sadly had to put down my oldest dog this year.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. He was an
Pet
old guy.
deaths are hard.
Yeah, he lived more than double his age than what he was projected to live. He had handicaps and stuff. So he was 13.
That's
He was
promising.
only supposed to go to like 6.
I've already started grieving my cat, which he's only 4. But that's what's wrong with my brain, is I just have anxiety, and I just am like, oh man, he's gonna die one day.
It is the
and
worst
I don't want
part.
that to happen. I've only had him for a week. So
He's already your child after a week. I love it.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's so like he was meowing at me when we were setting this thing up, and I was not paying attention to him. And then I think I spooked him because he was hiding under the couch when I was going down there to feed him. But hopefully he's calm now. I don't know.
Hopefully.
He does get scared. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my new development. I am doing a lot of new things, so I'm trying to look at my life a little bit differently from when I last was on here.
That's good. I mean, you're trying new things. I've seen you picked the guitar up again. Now
I did.
Yeah.
Which I'm not great at it, but
it doesn't matter.
I got that guitar when I was 10, and then I was at my mom's house for Thanksgiving, and I was like, you know what? I want to try to learn that again. And I've been doing I just started chords. I got through a lot of the notes. I'm trying to learn reading the music again, and yeah, chords are hard. And I have nails, which I don't think I love my nails. They make me feel put together. But I am trying to save a lot of money and guitar. Yeah. So I didn't schedule my next appointment. I'm going to try to take them off and be without them for 2 reasons, money and guitar.
But the other thing you picked up is instant photography. And I don't know if you know this, but I kind of live in that world.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason I'm in the instant photography world, because I wouldn't have a camera if it weren't for you. So.
There's that too. So for the listeners that don't know, in July, funny enough though, in July, it was the first time you and I ever really hung out ever in person. Yeah. Technically. Mm-hmm. And we've known each other,
I guess the first time would have been Vid Summit 2017 or 18, whatever that was, but it wasn't really hanging out. It was just we were working the same event.
Yeah, and you're across the room, and we're talking though to communicate for work stuff, but it was through chat, text. Yeah, and things like that. But yeah, so we never actually hung out, and so yes, until July, you were visiting your friend / ex roommate.
She still has stuff here, so I still kind of call her a roommate, but she doesn't live here. So.
Okay, so we got a roommate. Yeah, but
she's on the lease.
You're right. She moved out to Washington, where I live, and so I've been out and visited you, and I did a video about it, and I gifted you that Barbie camera, and you still using it. Still out shooting it. That's awesome. It's
fun. I just am mindful with when I buy film. Right now I don't have any film. I used it for I never posted those pictures. I should do that tonight. I took some pictures at this Taylor Swift Eras Tour watch party, and they turned out super cute. Nice. So I only had 4 shots, but I loved the way they turned out. This is so I actually do have one, because I was trying to figure out what to do with all my Polaroids. So there is a little tub that I'm looking at right now, but I don't think those ones are in it. I think those ones are in the little pouch you got me. He's just giving me all the stuff I need. He also just gave me a case, and I'm like, you don't need to do this, but it's amazing, and I'm going to use it. So, but it is very helpful. So I'll just know that it's getting used.
Sometimes I don't have impulse control issue, or have impulse
control
issue, where it's but not for myself. It's for other people a lot of times. So
that's good.
I gave you that camera, but then when was it? A couple months later, I found the the keychain version of the camera. I'm like, you got to have that. And then, that thing right there. And so
focus. It's still in the packaging because I don't exactly know what to do with it, but it's cute, so I just have it on my shelf.
And so I'm like, you have to have that. And then Retrospect actually sells their own bag. They had these made for that camera, because Retrospect ended up making their own version of that camera too, a modern version of it, if you will, but. Then they made 2 bags, one for the new one and one for the old one. I'm like, well, you got to have the bag for that camera.
Well, it's convenient because I don't always know what to do with my camera when I'm going out. I have a little backpack that I just tuck it in and it's fine. But that's nice because it has a little slot for film. And I don't know. My camera, I think I don't know where it's at the moment because my life is a mess. As you may have learned in the last hour, I'm working on decluttering because of my cat. And I want to get this room set up so I have a cool background like yours and not just a basic wall.
Yeah.
But it should be pretty simple to do.
Here's my background. Christmas.
Yeah, that's
Christmas
pretty
set.
Cool. Yeah, I don't even need a lot. I just need this wall to be prettier. I just need it to be
there it is.
Not what you just saw, pretty much. I want just some color. I want a light. See, I've got a Taylor Swift blanket. Oh, this side. Yeah. And then I've got these shelves with knickknacks and crystals. Yeah, I could make it look a little bit better. It's not really a part of my setup right now, but I could make it a part.
You could light up that lamp that somebody got you, and it look cool.
Yeah.
In the background.
I could try that. So like I could make that cool, but maybe I'll play with that.
Not my physical background, but my professional background is set design, building, studio, production stuff. So that's kind of what.
Which is how we kind of met with live streaming.
Yes.
So that's.
I was with a company called Live Streaming Pros, and we were live streaming. Actually, we weren't live streaming. We were recording the Vid Summit, which is a YouTube convention thing.
Yes, which I still help with. We did take the first step. I bought a capture card. That was impulsive of me, but it's something that I was looking at for like a year. You know that. I think I talked about it on the last
I talked you down from the expensive ones.
You did. It works great. For the camera, this one was $10. So if you have a camera that has an HDMI port that you could plug into, because that's actually something that not a lot of cameras have, depending on what you do. But it's very simple. And then I bought a $35 one because I want to try gaming as well. So I'll probably set that up maybe later tonight once I get my office a little bit clean. But I have to figure all of the tech stuff out, but that's where you come in too, because you helped me get this whole thing set up.
I have the problem where, because this is what, going back to what I was saying, I got to talk you down a little bit from buying some expensive stuff, because I'm the same way. Like, if I'm going to do this, I'm gonna get the best. Like, I'm gonna
do it right, do
it right, get all the good stuff. But then I oftentimes find myself spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this new hobby or new craft, and then after a couple of weeks, it's just I'm done, moving on to the next thing. So I tell people, especially when they first start into like the instant photography world or anything about film, whatever, don't get the quote unquote best camera, because you don't know if you even like doing it. Find out if you
I agree with that.
So like people always ask me, what's the best Polaroid camera you can buy? I'm like, well, have you ever shot instant photography? Like, no. Okay, cool. Get an Instax mini camera.
Yeah.
And Paco agrees.
Yes. I want my cat to come in here. I don't know where he's at.
Paco.
He's probably hearing me talk, so he doesn't want to come in here. But I agree with what you were just saying on the, like, I can speak to cameras specifically, because it really is just, you're trying to figure out the process and you're trying to get the muscle memory, and there's a lot of settings you have to learn with just general cameras. I'm still learning Polaroid and instant, because there is a lot you have to think about with that, with lighting and what will work and what won't work. I haven't wasted a lot of film, but there's a little bit, but that's the fun part of instant, is that you never know. You just see what it's going to look like. I took a picture at this watch party that I did not think was going to turn out. And it's like one of my favorite pictures, because it's just a picture of Taylor, like the live stream and people watching it. And I thought it was going to be too dark. Looked great. Could see Taylor and everything. So, but yeah, I think that it is important to, and I have to remind myself. So I'm glad that you did that, because I was just going to buy the $90 one. And then I wouldn't be able to do the gaming, but I would be able to set up the camera. But I was able to do this for $10 and it works fine.
And the cool part is that actually, when you do it on your own, like through your software and everything, it'll actually look better, because with the link I send you, it does a little bit of a lower resolution type stuff. So it'll actually be a lot better.
Yeah. I'll probably keep trying it out tonight, because I'm a little motivated now. I just got to get my office cleaned. I just feel like I have so much to do. This is me every time I take time off, and I just don't know where to start. But I just this is where to start. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like a plan for shows. Like gaming's just something I wanted to include, because it's something I want to do anyways. I just want to be able to like combine my interests with some sort of income. But it's not just about income, it's fun too. Like streaming is fun. That's why you do it a little bit, is there has to be some sort of reward, because you put time into it.
Yeah, like for this channel, it was my like kind of like my random dump page of like whatever I was doing, right? And if you could like literally look at all my videos or go to my homepage and filter it to oldest, and you can literally see all the stuff I was just like doing. There's weird stuff on there. I've always left it because it's kind of cool to go back and it's like, well, what the heck were you doing? Like I was like painting action figures in the beginning because I owned a retail store, right? So it was like there's some of that, like my early stuff, like 2014, 2015, but that was, then I got out of the store stuff and I started doing, tech and other YouTube stuff, like producing other people's content and all those type of things. And I would take breaks just to like make stuff here for fun. But then it kind of started like gaining some traction. I was and some views, and then money started coming in, and so I kind of reevaluated some stuff. So like starting out, you just got to do it. and
Yeah.
eventually it might make you some money. But if you're hoping to be like, oh, I need to start making some money, I'm going to start streaming, it's like you're setting yourself up for failure. I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm just
Right.
kind of talking
No,
to
I
people
know.
listening. If they are thinking that that's how it works, it's not. It could be years before you see like
Yeah.
any money.
You have to reach like a status to be able to get that, and it's not like overnight. I already know that.
You got to go
But
to
it's
events.
fun as well. So
Oh yeah, as long as you're having fun doing it, like that's the
Mhm.
best part. That's why I had this channel even to begin with. It is interesting though, I think, because in 2018, 2019-ish, I was like, that's when I was like, okay, I think I'm going to start trying, like actually focusing on this channel and try and do something, but I didn't know what. So I was just kind of doing the trendy stuff that everybody else was doing. Like I was like, ooh, I'll be like Peter McKinnon and do like cool 20-minute montages of coffee and all that BS. And it got tens of views. And then when I just randomly started sharing like a hobby of mine, where I was actually passionate about it and was like actively like just doing it for fun, aka instant photography. The very first video I ever released, boom, it got 1,000 views. I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. And I didn't do anything with it for a while. And then I went back to the other stuff. And then I'm like, screw this. So I did the instant photography because I was actually passionate about it. And people latch on to that the genuineness of it all, the authenticity. And
well, that's what matters.
here I am. So
And instant photography, I think, is very niche. I don't feel like there's a ton of people.
is.
Maybe you know more than I do, but I don't feel like there's a ton of people doing
It's
that.
like one of those things where it's very. I've had conversation with you about this, and especially I think when I was there experiencing it. But this year at PolaCon in New York City, it was so surreal because when I was just walking in, going to go have a good time and see what it's about, but I met people. I literally had a line form. It lasted like 20 minutes because people were wanting to talk to me and like get my picture and have me sign stuff. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like this is this like imposter syndrome to the extreme. Like what is happening?
Right.
But like then I start realizing like, yeah, okay, I kind of positioned myself in a spot to where like I'm it feels weird even saying stuff like this, but like I'm among the top of the like instant photography channels, right? Which is also a testament to, if you look at my subscriber count, it's like there's not that many. And so it's like one of those things where I'm like, dang, like I this is my passion, I love it, I'm gonna continue to do it regardless. But I'm like talking to my friend Dave about this. He tells me, he's like, man, if you could find something that was more or like more known or more like quote popular, that with the level of production and stuff that you put in and the skill or whatever that you got, it's like you could have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers by now. I'm like, I know, but there's just, I don't know, I'm not as passionate about all that stuff as I am with instant photography. But yeah, there's not a lot.
Like, I think that it's cool that you do the instant photography though. But I mean, maybe there's side quests if you want to, just kind of how you dabbled with instant photography, and then you could keep doing that, but then dabble with something else. I don't know what that thing is though.
Yeah, so like a little bit going back to the beginning ish, I was kind of mentioning I was wanting to do a little bit more maker stuff because I used to. I have another YouTube channel that I kind of retired. There was a lot of maker stuff on there, and it did really, really, really well. And so I enjoyed doing all that stuff, but then I kind of lost my space to do a lot of it. Like I did 3D printing and like model stuff, other kind of like things like that, like prop making and whatnot. A little bit of cosplay stuff, mostly just helping my sister with some of that stuff. And so it did really, really well. And so I was like, well, how could I implement that here on this channel? And so I think I'm going to kind of test that out next year a little bit. Like maybe do 3D printing, photography stuff I find online, maybe make some costumes or something for photo shoots. Maybe could be in something just to kind of add a little extra variety. And it'll gain maybe potentially a new audience. So we'll see.
Do you have a 3D printer?
So yeah, I have like 4 of them.
Oh my gosh. You can make anything with that.
Yeah. However, 2 of them are like, I'm gonna get real nerdy that you won't know what this is, but that's okay. But they're DLP printers and they print with resin and they make action figure cool stuff. Like they're pretty cool, high detail. Can't really make it anything else with that stuff. For like D&D miniatures and things you could print on there, or stuff that's like meant to just sit on shelves, not like functional parts. And then I have another printer that is technically half broken. The nozzle broke, but and I never ended up getting it fixed. Because then, long story. So I was looking into new printers nowadays because I've been out of the printing game for like 3-4 years, longer maybe since 2020 is probably when I stopped. So almost 5 years ago. There's some crazy stuff out there now, like, and it's like, whoa, I could do what now? Like I could literally like print my own cameras. Like it's wild.
Right. That's why I'm like, you don't need to buy anything ever again. Just like
I don't know how to. Problem is though, I don't know how to 3D model. Here's a little teaser for the listeners. That kind of a cool little segue. Not really a segue, but a little addition. But I have a friend of mine that is in the quote industry, which is like the entertainment industry kind of. He works here in Portland at a place called Curry Designs, and I met him through my store when I owned it. But he does like prop making and stuff. He's the art director there. But he's worked. Actually, you'll like. I think I've told you. I don't know, but you know the fans that Taylor came out on, the big fans. Yeah, he made those.
I don't feel like you told me that.
I never told you that?
You told me something when I was with you last time, but I don't feel like it was that.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting.
I'm like 2 degrees from Taylor, just saying.
Yeah. Well, do you think she actually knows him?
No, absolutely not. No, there's no way. But he's worked with
That's really cool, though.
Directly with like Katy Perry.
You told me about Katy Perry. You didn't tell me about Taylor.
Universal Studios is another one. All the dinosaurs for all the parks in the world. He does those, and the Transformer suits, like the big giant Transformer suits that walk around. He does those. Like he designs them, and then he has his team that actually builds them. But he's like the designer of everything and whatnot. Anyway, long story short, really, really nice guy. I love him. He's so nice. Well, next year, for the last like 3 or 4 years, actually, I've been trying to figure out a way to do this fun little Mythbuster series here on my channel where I like test instant photography myths. And I have one in particular that I wanted to do, which I've told you about. You shake it like a Polaroid picture, you know? You don't actually do that.
I didn't know that until you told me.
Yeah.
So.
And so I was going to do like the whole history of it, where it came from, where it stemmed from, and then I actually put it to the test. And I was going to build a shaking rig where I like shake a picture, and it's like I can like dial in like different speeds and all this sorts of crazy stuff. And I was going to be dressed up as like a cross between Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman, like whole thing, like this whole huge thing. Like, how do I do this? I don't know how to build this one rig to make a motion that flicks back and forth. I don't know how to do that. So I contacted my friend at that I was telling you about. His name is Charlie. I love him. He was like, I asked him like, hey, could you point me in a direction? Like, what could I do here? Like, what like I'm trying to figure this out. Like, do you have any advice? He gave me a whole list of like, this is what we're going to do. And so I'm like, wait a minute. So after Christmas, we're going to sit down and kind of like chat and figure out how to actually make it happen. And so that'll be coming soon, ish, hopefully in the next like month or two of actually like finally making it, like working it that way. And I think it'd be really fun because also bringing a whole new audience in general, just for curious minds, as well as like some of the maker community people watching me like create, or watch it more accurately him, build this like rig, because it sounds like he will maybe build it for me, or collaborate with me on it of some kind. So I'm pretty excited for that.
No, that's really cool. I feel like you should collaborate with him more.
Yes.
Because there's probably a whole world of things.
I always feel bad even just talking to him because he's actually done quite a bit of just like random stuff for me just on a whim. Like I've put out on Facebook, I was like, hey, anybody have a VHS camera? Like because the one I was using was broken. I needed it for a video. He immediately was like, hey, I have one you can borrow. Boom. Met up with me. He took me out to lunch and paid for my food and gave me a VHS camera to borrow. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
I mean, good connection to have. Sounds like a good person.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've been able to pay it back for him a couple of times where during COVID, he was trying to do some streaming and things. And so he needed a camera and stuff. And I was like, hey, guess what? Boom.
It's my time.
Yeah. So I was able to give him some stuff. And he's like, I'll get it back to you. I'm like, absolutely not. You're keeping all this stuff. But yeah, 2 degrees from Taylor Swift, kind of.
You are. You're very close. I also know somebody who's like, well, I don't know somebody. I know someone who knows someone who's a dancer for her, which I'm like, that's close to Taylor Swift.
That's really close. That's much closer.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I would love to hang out with her one day. I don't want to stalk her though. So.
Well,
I want to hang out and be besties, but
Mm.
I do think there's some creepos out there who just want to like be her, and
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
kind of like, that's weird. Taylor
Like whatever.
Swift or her team, whoever has this idea for
Yeah.
these fans, and then they randomly find somebody in Portland. Just like I'm always fascinated about how those things happen. But
Anyway, that was a tangent of me probably dabbling a little bit more maker stuff on this channel. We'll see.
you totally should. I think that would be really, because I feel like people love watching just even like people like painting or like doing something like that, and it's relaxing to watch for people. I don't know. Like you could
Yeah.
do it on a live even.
Yeah. Coming back to the topic of instant photography, because I wanted to talk about something, or just kind of touch on it a little bit. But so you've been shooting since July, right? And you've continued it, which is super cool. Because I've tried to give people cameras or like get people interested in it, and they're like, "This is cool." A couple shots here and there, and then I gotta pay $20 for a pack of film. That's okay. I'm not gonna do it. So then they stop shooting. Which is fine, reasonable. I get it, but you're still doing it, which is awesome. And so
When
I'm
I can,
curious,
when
you
I have the
can.
money.
Yeah, or when someone gives you like really expired old film when they hang out.
It worked. There were like 2 shots that didn't turn out, but it
Yeah,
worked.
So real quick, you came out here in last month, November sometime, and so yeah, I was going through my fridge and I found some Polaroid round frame from the very first, like when it first came out. It was supposed to be a fun fact for you, Caitlyn. You probably don't know this, but they came out with round frame back in 2021 as a special edition, one off. They were done. They were never going to do it again. They just put it out. It sold out within like 2 minutes of it be going online. Like crashed their website. Like people wanted this so bad. But I was lucky enough to get like 4 or 5 packs of it, like right in the first release, and those were from the very first release ever of it.
Wow. I don't think you told me that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it worked. Still,
I can show you what they turned out. There was like one that
Yeah.
didn't really. Let me show you if you can see it.
Oh yeah, but even then, still.
But it's still like it's a little, it's a little washed out because of that. But it just cut her off a little bit because she was hugging the dog. But that's the main one because I used it when I was in Price for Thanksgiving, and I think most of them turned out.
Because Polaroid film is technically like Polaroid says, like, oh, you'll get the best results within the first year of the production day on the box. But people associate that with, in 1 year it expires, but that's not true. Technically, Polaroid film, any film, doesn't really, quote, expire. It just will go bad at some point. If that makes sense. So it's not like you look at the expiration date on a box. Because, like, Instax film, they actually write best used by, or sometimes, so actually it might still say expires on, and it's usually like 2 years out. But that stuff I've shot stuff like 10 years past that date and it was still fine. Yeah, so it's really cool to see that. Now with that being said, are you like what other plans do you have in it? Do you want to go deeper into it, or are you just cool like with like owning one camera and just shooting it once in a while? Like, how do you feel about it?
I think I'm good with one camera right now because I only shoot it when I can afford film. And I just think about it when I'm going to like an event, like the Swift event. The watch party was really fun to have. And I just think that if I do weddings again, I don't know where I'm at with that. But including that in a part of my offering, because I did that for my little brother, just because I had the camera. I didn't do as much as I wanted to because I was doing way too much. But the Polaroids that I did get, I did really like. So no, I'm going to just continue to do it and try to get better at it. But I just think when I'm going somewhere, I like to take that and my phone. I'll take pictures on my phone, but it's nice to just have that to capture specific moments and just think a little bit harder about what you're shooting. And that's really, I just like having it. It's fun. So like when I go down for Christmas, maybe I'll buy a pack of film. I don't really know. I haven't taken any Polaroids of my cat. I need to go get some film to take some pictures of Thomas. But yeah, so like I had it with me for Thanksgiving. And I took some pictures of us playing Yahtzee. It was fun. So it's just things like that. I really like that. But I'm mindful about how much I shoot, and that's what I kind of like about it. It makes you think. Because it's you physically have the pictures. Because when we take them on our phone, they're just all in space.
Yeah.
But when you have a giant box of pictures. You're like, okay, chill. But
Right.
it's also memories. So this
Like-
is like one of my favorites. Like you aren't going to be able to see this, but my little brother's wedding, like these two turned out really good. Like
yeah.
old fashioned. You can't
Yeah.
see them that well, but these turned out so well.
There you go.
I like they're my favorites, and I'm gonna try to put these in an album for them, which I didn't order. Frick, I was gonna give that to them for Christmas. I might need to get on Amazon, but I just want to get the little album
Yeah.
for them
Well,
for physical
Target
pictures.
carries them. Target carries them for those.
Yeah, I only have 20 pictures though, and they hold like 40. Maybe there's one that's a little bit less than 40 pictures, but I'll have to go look. I don't know.
There's one. Yeah. Well, I mean, room to put more in. I use these ones.
True.
Actually, this is the new edition of it. These are from Polaroid.
That's the one I have in my Amazon cart for me because I want that one.
Yeah. This is a new thing. They originally this is just like smooth or whatever, but they actually added in a cutout so you can put in an extra photo.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So they hold 160 photos, I think. But this is
Yeah,
what
that's the
every
one
year-
I want.
Every year, at the end of the year, so usually like on New Year's Eve, that's usually what I do. I know I'm lame, but I will do a live stream. It's usually like 3 hours long, sometimes longer, and I just go through every photo I took that year and put my best Polaroids in an album.
I love that.
Yeah, and I slapped like a little, hey, 20 that year on my album. I'm like, cool, that's my album. So
Maybe I'll do that for New Year's this year. I don't really have plans for New Year's Eve. Like, I don't know what I'll end up doing. I kind of am like just not interested in doing anything, honestly.
Well, that's good to know.
But that sounds fun. So
Yeah.
if I end up just being home, I might do something like that.
Well, I'll let you know because actually, I was thinking of this year actually like having like guests come in and out, or just have a guest on with me as we're like someone to talk to as we're like showing off photos and stuff. Maybe we'll have you on. I don't know.
I'm down. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but even if it was just like a pop in for like 10 minutes or something, if I am doing something, I would be happy to do that. Cause I don't know. Normally it depends on if I stay in Price, but I don't think that's for my hometown for whoever's listening. But if I stay in my hometown, but I don't think I want to this year because I'm going to be because of the cat.
Yeah.
And then I just think that I did that last year and it messes me up because I only have like one day to get my life together before I have to go back to work. So I kind of want to go to my hometown for the week, maybe stay like for one weekend day and then come back up for the New Year's Eve week. And if my friends want to come up and hang out with me, they are more than welcome to do that. But I think I need to be a little selfish this year and I'll just hang out with Thomas if I don't end up going out. But I'm just like, I'm so exhausted. Normally I'm like, let's go do something for New Year's Eve. But I just am like, not right now. Maybe my mind will change when I get there, but that's not how I feel today. So
Yeah, I usually just stay here and do that. Last year I got a look. I think I was sick last year and I couldn't do the stream. I had to push it into like early January of this year technically. But yeah, every year for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's one of my more popular live streams too. And they're super long. Like they're like 3-4 hours sometimes.
I love that though, because I think that for people that are just staying home, they need somebody to hang out with sometimes. Maybe they don't care too much, but it can be lonely for sure if you're just alone on New Year's Eve. I'm prioritizing sleep a little bit this year, but if I end up being home, I more than likely am going to end up on a live stream, even if it's my own. But we'll see what happens. I'm impulsive, so. But I totally would do my own stream of just going through my Polaroids. That sounds really fun, actually. I'll do that as a stream anyways, even if it's not on New Year's Eve. I'm stealing your idea.
Steal it, run with it.
We'll have different pictures, but I'll tell the stories of the pictures.
Yeah, it's really fun because then like, a lot of times I'll go through because every year I put all the photos in a shoebox, and then it's like that's the year I shot for those photos, and then those photos I forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about like all these hundreds of photos sometimes.
That's what I got right now. It's kind of a shoebox. I definitely have less than you do, but
there's
something there.
I'll send you a picture of what I have later. I might have already sent you a picture at some point, but it's a shoebox. It's nearly full, and they're stacked up, like I don't know. They're standing up and they're all lined up, and it's like almost completely full.
Yeah, I think you did show me that because I was like, what in the heck do you do with all your Polaroids? Because I was getting overwhelmed with mine.
They go in 160 of them, whatever, go in one of these, and then. But lately, the last couple of years, I've been trying to get him out of albums because I don't see him as much.
Right.
So I've been putting him in frames and finding different use cases for some of them.
Mm-hmm. I want to
hanging
do
up
that
around the
too.
house.
I want to make a little board of just Polaroids, but time.
Yeah.
I need to figure that out.
It's a good time to do, or at least buy frames, because Michaels usually does like Christmas sales and like buy one get 3 free of all these different ones and buy up stuff.
My cat is here.
Oh, let's see Tom. Let's see him.
I gotta let him warm up to what's going on in here. He's investigating. Thomas. Let me see if I can get him. We got a glimpse of him. We'll see if he sits.
That doesn't really
He's trying to jump off of my lap right now. Okay, bye.
Well, we saw
That
a
was
little
the
bit
glimpse.
Well,
You need-
we should probably bring it to an end, but on this note, not really a note, but a final thing I saw the other day. Because I was going to text it to you anyway, and I totally forgot because you told me to keep you in the loop. Policon announced officially really early this year, which was kind of awesome to finally for that to happen. Because last year it was only a month out, and it was awful to get tickets, like plane tickets in hotels. It was really expensive. So it's May 30th through like the 4th or 3rd or something like that of June.
Okay.
We gotta get you there. We gotta get you
We gotta
there.
try.
New
I
York
think
City,
my lease
baby.
ends right around that time, so I might be moving, but we'll have to see what happens. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, but I will look into that, and that would be really fun. I would like to go if I could make it happen. I'm open to all the adventures and opportunities. So
Some time in New York City. Well, it'll be in Brooklyn.
New York,
But
yeah,
we go to New York City. It's just
Close
right on the
enough.
bridge.
Close enough. It's close
Actually,
enough. But I'm down. I will try to start a savings account for that as well. Just because that's part of my reason is I always put that off. But no, that sounds super fun. It sounds like a fun event, and I definitely would like to get involved.
My plan is to stick around a couple extra days afterwards and go do
have to.
New York stuff because I'm excited for the Stranger Things play that's going on only exclusively in London, but it's coming to Broadway in March. And so that's going to that for sure because it's actually canon to the show because the Duffer Brothers actually wrote it, and it's like this is a prequel to everything. It's about like Joyce and Hopper and them like when they were kids and kind of going on what was going on at that time.
I'm interested to see how that would go over in a musical. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
That sounds fun.
Is it?
Oh, is it just like act? Well, most Broadway is musicals, so that's why I'm wondering that. But
I actually don't know.
But that's hopefully it's really cool music though. Stranger Things has cool music in it, so I'd be down. Listen, I love New York. I've wanted to go back, and I was kind of in the back of my mind before my life kind of got a little complicated with money. I wanted to plan like a New York trip around this time because I knew I had time off and I wasn't planning on editing wedding videos. None of those plans worked out, actually. I have wedding stuff to edit and I have zero money. So, but maybe I'm getting very diligent about my savings. So I will try to make a savings bucket for New York and hopefully something can work out around that time. But who knows? Anything's possible. Maybe I'll start making a ton of money from streams and I'll be able to use that.
Yeah, start like right now.
This is just making it like fun for me again, though. I think I just have an issue with editing at the moment, and so live streaming is the way to go.
Yeah.
Just the way. I also want to know how you make these little scenes. I think I know how to do it, but I've never played around with it. Yeah. So I just there's so many things. We just need to work together, and then I'll give you a commission if I get money.
I'll just be your producer.
Yeah. I'll make a lot of money one day and then I'll be able to hire somebody to do it all for me.
There you go.
So that's the goal.
There's
my cat.
There he is.
Thomas. Hi. Oh my gosh, stop going that way.
He's like,
wait, that's danger.
There he is. Well, on that note, I think he's the boss, and he's like, you guys need to wrap it up. You've been talking too long. I do appreciate you coming on again. It's the first time we had a returning guest, not because anyone didn't want to, it's just because I just never.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you've actually just committed to regular new people. That's really impressive, actually.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
But it's interesting.
Yeah, I was just wanted to keep it fresh with new person every single week. But I thought this would be a little bit different, just because one, you were on the Christmas one last year, and then you kind of an update to what's
good wrap up.
And
it's a good wrap up.
You got into instant photography. I was like, we gotta get her back on and talk about some stuff.
There's always updates. I definitely am going to use your idea to go through my Polaroids on a stream whenever that happens. Absolutely. I think that sounds really fun. Definitely. Thanks for the tips.
I will be there watching. But where can they find you?
Caitlyn Creative on pretty much everything is my personal. It's Caitlyn.creative on TikTok, if that still exists in a month. And my podcast is Dating at Her Age on everything. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
I was on 2 episodes.
Yeah, you can find the podcast on Apple Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, or kslpodcast.com is like our main website. But it's available Spotify, Apple, whatever you use.
Sweet. Well, hey, thank you. Merry Christmas. Even though
Merry
Christmas.
Is
in 4 days, but Merry Christmas.
No, it's right now. We're in the holiday spirit. I'm wearing a cat sweater and holding a cat.
There you go.
And he's going to run away now.
Ooh, that was such a fun conversation. It's always fun talking with Caitlyn, especially with somebody that's entering into the instant photography world. I love seeing other people's point of view of instant photography. Everyone has their own reason as to why they like to shoot it, and also like what they like getting out of it. Some of us like to see the best, most saturated, sharpest images. Other people don't really care about that. Some just like the experience of shooting it and having a physical photo. I love all perspectives. Sometimes I lose perspective on when I'm out shooting photos and I get upset that they're not coming out the way I want them to. But I gotta stop and think, why did I get into this in the first place? It's lovely to hear Caitlyn's perspective with her journey into instant photography. Maybe we'll have her back on next Christmas. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a tradition. If you want to check out Caitlyn and everything she's got going on, I'll leave links in the description. And I appreciate you listening and watching today's episode because, yes, this is also in video form. You could see my ridiculous little Christmas tree sweater if you're watching this in video form. I love this thing. He's got this most wicked, crazy hood I've ever seen on a hoodie. I have to wear these glasses just to keep the hood up. That's why I wear them. I don't even need glasses. But I digress. You can check the podcast out on YouTube and Spotify, and also an extended version over in the Patreon page, aka the Spitfire Club. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out there, make some art, and Merry Christmas.